Here's what's in the news now. Thousands of packages are still getting jammed at the U.S. Postal Service hub here in Indianapolis. This is a story we've been reporting since December.
And we are finally making a little bit of progress. What is going on? Just last week, Indiana congressional leaders sent a letter to the U.S. Postmaster General wanting answers. Today, they say they still have yet to receive a response back. Also tonight, we're learning about issues and allegations at other facilities all across the country. It's not just here. Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick joins us live in studio with the next steps that we could see now if some of these issues of delays are not resolved.
Exactly. We've been looking into all these different facilities because at this point we really have heard it all. We've heard about live animals there, life-saving medicine, Christmas cards, passports, collectibles, all somewhere inside this USPS distribution hub in Indy. And it turns out it's not the only U.S. Postal facility dealing with this very problem. Turns out Atlanta faced similar issues with the problems leading to a federal audit last year.
Last August, the Office of the Inspector General for USPS released this audit of Atlanta's postal distribution hub. The report cited issues with staffing and supervision, recommending 7 changes, including facility-specific training and more managerial hires. Similar audits were also done in Richmond, Virginia, and Houston, Texas. All of these facilities part of the Postmaster General's restructuring plan, consolidating local offices into massive hubs known as regional processing and distribution centers. The one on Indy's east side is also part of this rollout. Within the last 2 months, 13 News has received hundreds of complaints of packages being delayed weeks and even months. This video provided to 13 News shows the backlog that workers say is only getting worse. And now every member of Indiana's congressional delegation is demanding an explanation and a solution.
Everyone signed on the letter, Democrats and Republicans, every district across Indiana in Congress. We want an answer, we want a fix, timely.
Leaders in Louisville and Jacksonville have also sent similar letters about issues happening in their cities. A Postal Service representative said the agency will respond to the Indiana delegation directly, but it's not clear when. In the meantime, packages and complaints continue to pile up.
So it's very possible if we don't see the issues resolved here in Indy, we could see one of these audits done at our distribution hub, but it's still kind of too early to tell. And it's also important to note that some of these packages are not just everyday orders. For example, I spoke with a man earlier today. He ordered some live baby chicks through the mail, which he says usually no problems, right? He picks them up in Greenfield. Well, this time they were stuck at the distribution hub. And when he finally got them, he said that only 5 of those 22 baby chicks survived. So just all different stories we've been hearing. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Right. Oh, Lauren, thank you. I'm so glad you're staying on top of this. I hope there's some pressure that leads to resolution.
Absolutely.
The Morgan County prosecutor now says that an 18-year-old Mooresville high school senior who stands accused of planning a mass shooting on her school campus Valentine's Day is a threat to the community.
Rich Nye was in the courtroom this morning as lawyers argued how high bail should be set for Trinity Shockley.
Trinity Shockley was in the courtroom for a bail review hearing early Tuesday morning. The prosecution is asking for very high bail, a $500,000 surety bond plus $250,000 cash bond.
This is Shockley being escorted in shackles out of the Morgan County Courthouse after the hearing. The prosecution presented evidence of Shockley's infatuation with mass shooters, including photos of them on display in her bedroom and on buttons attached to her school backpack. Shockley allegedly exchanged 7,000 messages with another person on the social media platform Discord, talking about violence and planning the Mooresville High School shooting at lunchtime on Valentine's Day. Shockley's attorney argued this is all words and bond should be standard, as low as $2,000 cash. The judge is reviewing the evidence, which includes the video of Shockley's 1-hour interview with Mooresville police, before ruling on bail. In Morgan County, Rich Nye, 13 News.
It's police dash cam video, and this was just released in the last hour.
And it shows Lawrence police officers in a fight with a man while taking him into custody outside a Walmart.
Now, videos from other people who witnessed the incident were posted on social media, and those images brought a lot of concern from the public about the officer hitting the man there who was on the ground.
Rich Nye's been reviewing this video for the last hour and is here tonight to share what it shows. It is really some stunning video.
It really is. And Lawrence police tell us this incident started on Tuesday about 4:30 at the Walmart on Pendleton Pike when an officer noticed a white Ford Explorer parked in the emergency fire lane near the entrance. Now, this is the officer who pulls up behind the car. The man gets out and the officer tells him to stay by his car. Another officer would arrive before the first officer and the man began to exchange heated words. And I'm going to let you watch for yourself how this confrontation became physical. This body cam video you're about to see is from another officer who pulled his taser out when the officer is fighting with the man.
Turn around. No, I ain't turning around. Turn around. I'm not turning around. You gotta turn around. Hey! Get down! Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Call resistance. Hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
Now, I've not been able to watch all the video. Police say that after the man was put in handcuffs, he threatened officers several times that when he got out of jail, he would find them and shoot and kill all of them. The Lawrence Police Department says it released the video to be transparent. Lawrence Police said they recognize this video may be difficult to watch, but they believe that providing the footage allows for a clear understanding of the events as they unfolded. The man arrested was released from the Marion County Jail this morning, and the prosecutor's office says no charges being filed at this time. The prosecutor's office says they're waiting for the full investigative report to what actually led up to this. As I was watching the video, it appears that this man and this first officer on the scene have some kind of background. They've run into each other before. So we'll continue to explore that as we look at this video. There are 5 different angles, and I still haven't watched all those videos all the way through yet. We'll have more for you coming up at 6 o'clock.
In the meantime, this officer is not on the streets.
That's right. He is on administrative leave.
Yeah.
And again, this video just came in, so obviously our entire team has to get a chance to take a look at it. But thank you for bringing us this initial report. Rich Nye.
2 Marion County high school students now say that they were bullied and injured so severely that they have serious injuries.
Yeah, now attorneys representing those families say they've filed 2 lawsuits against Perry Township schools. Our Karen Campbell is digging into the lawsuit tonight.
Hopefully, by filing these lawsuits and others which are yet to come, we hope to get some real change for these families.
Attorney Tammy Meyer is talking about families like the parents of this 11th grader at Perry Meridian High School, who say he was relentlessly targeted by bullies. He ended up in a hospital.
Families should not be sending their child to school and having them come home with permanent facial injuries or traumatic head injury. I don't think any of us want that for our children, and it's terrifying for families.
Attorney Catherine Michael, along with Meyer, say they filed 2 lawsuits against Perry Township schools, accusing officials of ignoring parents' complaints and warning signs, claiming students were being bullied and beat. According to the lawsuit, a second student, a 6th grader at Rosa Parks Elementary, reportedly suffered bullying and physical attacks severe enough to cause lasting head injuries and a debilitating seizure disorder.
This is not what our parents should be worried about, sending kids to school.
Attorneys describe a culture of violence inside the schools. Last year, substitute teacher Rob Gooding says he was attacked by a student at the high school.
And what we're seeing, because we have been sent numerous videos, is that these children are being attacked. Other children are standing around watching it, not intervening. They're encouraging it and they're filming it. Then they post it on social media and they make fun of the kids that are getting beat up and they brag about what they did.
Karen Campbell, 13 News.
In a statement to 13 News, Perry Township school officials say they cannot comment on pending litigation, going on to say that the district has, quote, stringent anti-bully policies and practices. Their full statement is posted for you to review at WTHR.com right now.
All right, tonight a contentious meeting here in downtown Indianapolis over the new director for Indianapolis Animal Care Services. We've seen protests from volunteers over the decision to give the shelter's interim director the permanent role. Our Logan Gay attended tonight's meeting, so Logan, was there a vote tonight?
No, there was no vote tonight because the committee already voted last month to approve the appointment and send it to the full council. Instead, this was an opportunity to hear from the public and Kelly Diamond about their thoughts on the current state of IACS.
There's simply no way that this many people can speak out and be wrong. When there is smoke, there is most certainly fire.
There were almost no empty seats left at this committee meeting as countless animal advocates and current and former IACS volunteers and staff publicly implored the committee to continue the search for a new director.
We need someone willing to communicate, collaborate, and not shut people out. I urge this committee, do not make this appointment. Do not cement these harmful policies into the future of IACS.
Kelly Diamond is the interim director for the shelter as the City County Council considers her official appointment. But some people expressed they're not impressed so far.
There are bad policies, cutting free volunteer hours, not running appropriate background checks. Obviously, there is low morale.
For years, volunteers could stay at the shelter until 9 p.m. Under the new policy, they have to leave by 7 p.m.
Slashing the volunteer hours during the week now forces dogs to hold their bladders and waste for over 14 hours or sit in their own waste until the next morning.
Diamond addressed some of these concerns about her decisions. She says changing volunteer hours is all about safety.
We value the positive contributions from our volunteers, and we also value their safety. And not only are we concerned about their safety when it comes to animals in our shelter, but also that of the public being able to access our building and our property and enter that building while they are there without management oversight.
But some council members took the time to encourage Diamond and IACS to use what they have.
Your volunteer corps is one of the strongest ones that I've seen in my 5 years of any agency, and I implore you to find a way to work with them and bring them back on at full speed.
Because that's all they want.
Let us help you. Don't push us away.
The final vote will be on March 3rd. In Indianapolis at CCB, Logan Gay, 13 News.
Now, this is at least the fourth major aviation incident in North America in the past month. Our Logan Gay spent tonight asking questions of an aviation expert at Purdue. She joins us live in the newsroom. And Logan, what do they have to say about these incidents?
Well, Scott, crashes like this one we've seen can be a scary sight for some travelers. But Professor Ryan Rees from Purdue University believes technical advancements over the years have decreased runway incursions. He also agreed with the National Transportation Safety Board chairwoman when she stated you have a greater chance of getting hurt or killed while driving than flying on a plane. But I want to walk you through once again the timeline of the recent plane crashes. It started with a horrifying collision between an American Airlines jet and a military helicopter last month in D.C. 67 people died, and it was the first major fatal commercial plane crash in the U.S. since 2009. Days later, an air ambulance crashed near a mall in northeast Philadelphia, killing all 6 people and another person in a car. Then less than a week after that, a plane crash in Alaska. A regional flight crashed off the coast, killing 10 people. And just days ago, a 78-year-old pilot of a private plane died after crashing into another aircraft on a runway in Scottsdale, Arizona. The recent crash is shaking up passengers.
It is nerve-wracking. I'm going to be completely honest, it is nerve-wracking.
I really didn't feel safe at all today because there's so much stuff going on.
All of this happening at a time when air traffic control nationwide are strained for people and resources. And President Trump announcing plans to fire several hundred Federal Aviation Administration employees. The impacted workers include personnel hired for FAA radar landing and navigational aid maintenance.
Perhaps you've noticed drones increasingly in the news recently. First, there was all those excessive sightings out on the East Coast, people capturing these images on their phones and asking questions about them. And then out west, a drone damaged a plane that was actively fighting the wildfires and took that plane out of commission. Increasingly, people are wondering who is flying these drones and why. And now there's a Fisher startup that aims to help answer those questions. When a drone is flying, you can see it on this supersized screen.
Yeah, this is in active use right now.
You can also track the flight path and locate the remote pilot too. Fisher's base Pierce Aerospace developed this technology using sensors on buildings to track the signal coming from a drone's remote ID. It's like a license plate for drones.
These drones are flying over our heads all the time, and the general public's biggest question is, who is that and what are they doing? And this remote identification technology provides a fundamental piece of infrastructure that didn't exist before.
And it's something that could have come in handy recently at the Indiana State House.
Somebody decided to fly a drone inside the building at the State House, and it took quite a while to locate the person. We didn't have the technology or the ability to say, you know, the person flying this drone is standing right here. And so it created a little bit of chaos for a short time.
A drone flying over a crowd poses a safety risk.
Clip wrap.
And a drone flying near an aircraft is a pilot's nightmare.
You know, even a small drone, you know, with an aircraft accelerating at the speeds that they go, could do a lot of damage. That's a lot of energy in a small area.
From a safety risk perspective, these sensors need to be at every single airport in the nation, without a doubt.
Pierce is a small 15-member company. It recently landed a $10 million contract with the Department of Homeland Security, and just this week announced a new deal with the Navy. They've placed sensors from Alaska to Florida.
And we've got a lot of them deployed in the Midwest right now.
Pierce says the data they create works like a flight aware for drones.
They're able to now, with our technology as it continues to roll out, have a similar experience in understanding what's flying over their heads. You know, is that a commercial delivery drone, or is that my neighbor down the street just having some fun being a hobbyist?
Whether you're a pro or flying for fun, flying a drone near an aircraft is illegal. The airspace is restricted because while plane pilots can see one another, they cannot detect a drone.
As of right now, that technology does not talk with remote ID. In the future, I certainly hope that it does, to give us that little bit of extra situational awareness so that we have safer airspace.
Drone usage skyrocketed more than 600% in just the last 5 years.
No, they are not going away.
Which makes the skies a more crowded space, a place that Pierce Aerospace believes it's poised to protect.
And we see this as a safety and security game changer going forward.
So really interesting stuff, Ann, but this remote ID, do all drones have one?
Yes, absolutely. Remote ID is required on all drones in this country today. And it's really interesting because this Pierce product provides a record of where and when you fly your drone. And then that data is stored and it's accessible. So it is illegal, keep in mind, to use a drone for invasion of privacy, voyeurism, or to assist in the commission of a crime.
So they are watching you.
Yes, and they have a record.
Oof, okay, good to know. Ann, thanks.
Construction on Indigo's $387 million Blue Line project is expected to begin very, very soon. It's going to run 24 miles east to west, connecting Cumberland all the way to the Indianapolis International Airport, of course, running through downtown Indianapolis along I-70, Holt Road, and Washington Street. Work is expected to be finished in a couple of years, by 2028. And right now, Indigo is asking for your help. They want to know how people plan to use the Blue Line, which is the city's final of the 3 planned bus rapid transit routes.
And here to talk about a new survey now open is Indigo's Chief Public Affairs Officer, Carrie Black. Thanks for being here.
So good to be here.
So first, let's talk about the timeline and then, of course, the construction schedule, what that could look like.
Yeah, so groundbreaking is scheduled for like the next couple of weeks. So we are so close. This has been a long time coming, and it will be 4 years. So this is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's going to be taking place throughout the Washington Street corridor, which is about 14 miles. And basically, we just encourage people to check up on our website at indigo.net to get an understanding of when construction will hit your neighborhood or the area where you work so that people can be prepared for the closures and the detours. But our goal is to help Indy thrive through that time, maintain access to all businesses and residents during the construction.
And you talked about the survey. What exactly is that, and what are you trying to find out from people?
Sure. So we have what's called a baseline survey. So this is a survey that's open to anyone who works or owns a business or lives within a half mile of Washington Street. And basically, we're trying to get a sense of their driving patterns, their riding patterns. Do they ride Indigo? If so, how? If they don't ride Indigo, why not? Just so we can get an understanding before the project starts, and then we'll do it again several years after the project launches, just to see, have we moved the needle, and if so, in what way? And so, yeah.
So this will give people an opportunity to have their voice heard. I think as a resident, a lot of times you feel like, oh, new projects are coming, and you may or may not have a say in how they get rolled out.
So the project itself is set. So I do want to be clear that people understand they will not have a say in how the project goes, but they will have a say in how they utilize the corridor now versus how they use the corridor after the blue line is in place. And obviously our goal is to see that more people are utilizing transit, bus rapid transit, that more development is coming into the community. So we also survey real estate and economic development. And the cool thing here is that there's already been more than $400 million of economic development along that corridor, and construction hasn't even started yet.
How do you respond to people who might wonder, this is a huge investment. Does it justify the cost? Is there demand? Is there enough demand for rapid bus transit?
Absolutely. So a couple of things. First of all, voters told us that they want bus rapid transit when they overwhelmingly approved the referendum back in 2016 that included the red, purple, and the blue line. And then number two, this is much more than just a transit project. Half of the budget goes to infrastructure improvements. So that's street paving, that's new and upgraded sidewalks, that's new ADA curb ramps, that's stormwater infrastructure improvement. And anyone who's driven through communities like Irvington after a heavy rain know how the water piles up there. This is going to take care of all of that. So even if you never ride the blue line, you're going to benefit as a result of this project.
And we've seen some of that already along the purple line and the red line as well.
Not just transit.
Yep.
All right, Carrie Black from Indigo, thank you so much.
Thanks
we appreciate
for having
it.
me.
And we'll put a link to that survey online at WTHR.com. Thanks.
All month long, we've been talking about the importance of focusing on your heart for National Heart Health Month. And tonight we're focusing on the men in your life.
Absolutely. Dustin Grove is here with one man's health scare, how he survived it, and the message now he wants to share to all of us.
Gary Straber puts a lot of miles on his truck, and it was behind the wheel one day last year.
I was on 65 south heading towards Columbus
when he knew something wasn't right.
I started feeling odd, tingling, kept driving thinking that it would go away. It did not. It kind of got worse. I started getting a little tightness in my chest.
So he pulled over, thought about lying down and taking a nap at his daughter's home nearby, but he called his wife, who strongly thought otherwise.
My wife insisted that I went to the hospital just to get checked out.
And is he ever glad he did?
We couldn't relate what we found to a heart attack, but they found major issues with my heart during the checks.
Turns out Gary had a hereditary heart issue he never knew about and an aortic aneurysm. His heart was a ticking time bomb.
Gary and I had a lengthy conversation about what the plan would be and what would make the most sense for him.
Dr. Mark Erdis was Gary's surgeon.
We organized everything we could in order to give Gary his optimal recovery and a long-term outcome that would provide him a full life.
So you needed open heart surgery?
I had open heart surgery, yep. And they replaced my aorta and a valve that I had that was defective from birth.
8 months after surgery, Gary is grateful for the symptoms he suffered that day.
I'm sure glad I had the issue because, what we found during the testing, that looking for it, is something I had no idea I had.
He now gets to look forward to many more years with his family and his fishing boat. His message to others?
Men in general seem to be stubborn, and I think that, we need to listen to our the signs that our bodies give us and listen to our wives if they say go to the hospital and don't go take a nap.
Thank goodness for our wives.
Yeah, amen.
Words truly to live by. On the South Side, Dustin Grove, 13 News.
All right, Gary says, let his story be a lesson. Go make sure you get a heart scan and make sure that you're aware of your family's heart health history.
Dustin also did an in-depth interview with the cardiologist about all of this, and you can find it online at WTHR.com/realmenweargowns.
You know, during Black History Month, we are shining a spotlight on community leaders, artists, and others making a real impact in our community.
So tonight, our Karen Campbell introduces us to a Hoosier who's really making it his personal mission to educate other Black men on the very key important aspects of taking care of their health.
Evan Taylor wasn't always a runner.
I played basketball growing up.
He would later find a community to help keep him active.
When I joined Black Men Run, running a 5K every Saturday, I was like, this is something different. I'm used to a quick out and back.
He fell in love with Black Men Run, a group that started in 2013 that's now nationwide. The group encourages health and wellness among Black men. While heart disease is the leading cause of death of all U.S. adults, it's more prevalent in Black Americans. In fact, according to the American Heart Association, nearly 60% of Black men and women suffer from cardiovascular disease.
Black men die at a disproportionate rate from cardiovascular diseases. And so a mix of that being the inactive lifestyle, also where Black folks typically live, you don't have the best options for food.
Taylor says he wants to make sure he doesn't become a statistic.
I want to be able to see my son grow and have a healthy lifestyle. I also try to stay in shape because when he becomes between 10 to 15, I still want to be able to beat him in that local pickup game or that foot race.
Taylor became an ambassador for Black Men Run Indianapolis chapter, encouraging others to take care of their health, not only physically, but educating members about proper nutrition and focusing on mental and emotional health.
Being Black in America continues to be very stressful. So all of those things on the Black male body, you need something to get some of that stress and energy off of you.
Black men who come together for more than just running, they form a bond, a brotherhood.
If you walk with us just a mile, you've lapped everybody on the couch. And so as long as you're up and moving and active, that's our main goal for all Black men.
A simple step that can lead to a healthier future. Karen Campbell, 13 News.
And you can find more information about Black Men Run on our website. We'll post a link with this story right now at WTHR.com.